Welcome everybody for another episode, Barry Black Community Reloaded. I'm your host, West Coast Wolf, and today's topic we're going to talk about living in lack with a bad attitude. Living in lack with a bad attitude. This was a topic I came up with just talking to a friend of mine, Edwin. We're talking about our people and how we're just missing so many different opportunities to actually gain strength and wealth as a unit. And I just reminisce about a few different people that I've met in the past, and some of my friends now, some of actually people I haven't seen in a while. Some people of passing by, you associate with them for whatever reason. Could be business, could be whatever. And I just realized this is something we need to talk about. Living in lack. What is living in lack? Living in lack is when you're actually just surviving. You're just going through life. You're taking one day at a time. You don't have any real plans for the future. You don't have any real thoughts of learning from your past. What you drag with you every day is not just valuable experience. You drag with yourself through your daily journey, and as you're in your life's journey, you drag with yourself a lot of bad emotions. Now, I say it this way because when you use the word experience, we use it so loosely today, okay? When you use the word experience, it should mean that you learned something. Now, if you come out of a bad relationship with a significant other or whatnot today, it could be the same sex or whatnot, but you shouldn't really drag those bad feelings onto your next relationship. That's one aspect. It could be in a job where a career. You had some bad experiences with some career move you made and some people in that particular job or whatever. You shouldn't drag that information, you shouldn't drag those bad experiences to your next experience, because it will definitely be detrimental to your future career and personal and other types of business relationships. And people who are living in lack, what they tend to do is they just drag themselves on and on the next day, complaining about what they haven't had happen in their life. They complain about things they could have done, should have done, but didn't. They complain about everybody else around them. That's their fault for whatever reason they find themselves in a bad situation throughout their life. Now, let me get a few things clear, though. Yes, there are a lot of problems for our people. There are a lot of psychological problems for our people. But putting the psychology aside, what are we doing about our current situation at hand? What are we really doing about it? If you're just one of those people who just dragging your life through your life, just going to work, coming home, doing it all over again, you don't have any plans for your future. You're just pretty much being dictated to in everything you do in your life by somebody or some entity. We must never forget that we live in a system of white supremacy, okay? And in that system, at every freaking turn that black people make, there's a system in place to make sure you don't get ahead. Do you realize that? Now, some of you might say, yeah, I know all that. Yeah, I know all that, Wolf. No. When you really know and you understand this system, you'll be a lot more cautious about the decision that you make or choices that you make day to day. Because when you're living in lack with a bad attitude, you are almost guaranteeing that you're going to continue having bad experiences in your life. I give you an example. I was at Burger King the other day. I was in the drive-thru. It was in the morning. And a young sister was working the window, okay? And I said, yeah, let me get this croissant with no meat on it. Just give me cheese and egg and cheese. I don't want no meat. Okay, no problem. You can get the 2 for $2 or 2 for $4. I said, okay. Give me 2 for $4. I'll take that one. So I get to the window, young sister. And she's probably about, I think she said she's about 22, whatever. I said, how you doing, sister? Good morning. She looks at me with this negative, real, just disgusted look on her face. and she doesn't even acknowledge my good morning. And you know the way I am, I'm kind of special in the way I'll challenge you indirectly. I'll make you speak to me, or I'll make you give me a reason why not you're not speaking. So I'm like, oh, I said good morning, sister. How you doing? She looked at me like, well, I wish I was in bed right now. I get it's too early in the morning for me to be up, and you know I'm just not all the way here yet or whatnot. I said, okay, okay, I get it. That's okay, but you know what? You know, you're young, good looking sister. You know, you got a future ahead of you. I said you should smile more because we're dealing with a lot. You know, in the morning. I mean, you're the first face that people see in the morning. You don't just say, I say, you know, I see what time you get up. She said, I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I said, I got up at 4:30 this morning. She said, doing what? I said, working. She said, oh, okay. And she kind of lightened up a little bit. But I asked her how old she was. I said, you know, I'm not trying to talk to you nothing like that. I'm just, how old are you, sister? I'm 22. She's talking about her mom moved to Stockton or whatever else, and she is so happy and excited about moving there. And she's talking about how she got so much going for her, but she got to go to work and do this and do that. Basically, she started complaining about her problems in that short time, and that's cool for you to feel comfortable with somebody to tell them your problems. But the reality is, white folks ain't gonna want to hear that, and some black folks ain't gonna want to hear that. So in the morning, you're the first face of Burger King representing for their company, and then I just noticed how that made me feel. I said, "Wow, she's negative for no real reason. Bad attitude." And I asked her, so what's your plan? You got a plan for the future? So you going to college or something? Well, you know, I'm just thinking about it. I'm not sure what I want to do right now. I said, okay, that's fine. You have a nice day. And she was nice by the end, but let me just explain something to you, family. Everybody's not going to do what I do with people to get them out of their shell. People could give a damn what your problem is a lot of the time. And for us, it's a sad case because we have so much against us right now. And the last thing you want to do is give somebody an impression that you have a bad attitude for no good reason. Now, I'm not telling people to go out there and, put a big smile on your face and just be happy no matter what people tell you, whatever. But I'm just saying, don't give nobody an excuse. They have many excuses already for us because they put the worst of us on TV, on the internet. And it just seems like there's so much attitude. And it is amazing to me, those with the most ridiculous attitudes are living in the most lack. That sister was 22 years old. Now, most of the kids in that area that she lived in, she was so happy to live there on the peninsula. These kids are going to college at that time. These kids have successful family members and their mother and father, and they're so happy, they're so overjoyed. And truth be told, the attitude probably comes from home, not being disciplined in the household, about having a set day, a set goals in your life. You don't just wake up with a bad attitude because you got to get out of bed, and they put you in the drive-through window. That's ridiculous. So my point is that you really have to check yourself, okay? Because at some point in your life, on that same pattern, you will be denied certain things in your life, and you're not going to really know why, because you have a bad attitude. And having a bad attitude is going to affect you in many parts of your life. Now, in white supremacy system that we live in, everything's not going to go your way. But I've run across several people, black, white, Latino, whatever, who were living in lack, who didn't have a lot going for themselves. But at the same time, these people, they had a really bad attitude. And I'll be honest with you that it's people in my life that I've actually stopped dealing with because they had attitude issues. And if your life is not the way you want it to be, I get it. That's unfortunate. Don't bring that to me, who is your friend, who is a family member, who is somebody trying to help you get through your issues. Because everybody's not going to make time for you like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, There's some good people out there in our community. There's a lot of good people in the community, but there's also a lot of bad attitude. And I know the system is rough on us as a people, but you shouldn't have attitudes with your brothers and sisters. You really shouldn't. It's like almost sometimes people are looking for a fight. It's like they're looking for a fight before looking for some love. And it may be a defense mechanism, but I'm saying you have to stop it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's the resources that I could have given to some people, but because of their attitude, I passed them by with that. And I'm sure if I've done that, I'm sure you've done that. And what I'm saying is that the people in the most lack have the biggest attitudes. And yes, it might not be all your fault. You might grew up with some parents that wasn't really good to you. I get it. You might have been having dead end jobs that wasn't working for you. I understand. But as you go forward, you have to constantly remind yourself the next person that you meet or have a dialogue with is not your issue. It's not your problem. And that very person that you're denying or you shooting down or having a bad attitude or you being overly aggressive with for no good reason, that person could have put something into your life to help you benefit in the future for your family, for your career. But because you had a bad attitude, you lost valuable resources that you had no clue you could have had. There's people come to mind right now. Oh my God. Some people are just so hard to deal with. And you look at them in their life, it's like a train wreck looking for a wall to run into. And it's sad. I've met some very, very skillful people in certain particular areas of their life. Very skillful. These people I'm talking about are not necessarily simple-minded people. These people might have great skills. But if you're not amazing at what you do, you're not wealthy, people are not breaking your damn door down to get to know you, get to meet you, to work with you, to talk to you, to be with you. Let me tell you something. You have to change your attitude. Because if you're living in lack and you have a bad attitude, there's 2 strikes against you already. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I've done this, I know. Let's keep it real. Keep it 100. There's people on this call that have done this very same thing. You have denied somebody resources. Well, let me say maybe not denying resources, but it could have been denied resources, but it also could have been, you could have actually passed them by for resources, passed them by for assistance because you could not get past that stanky ass attitude. Let me just put it like that. You couldn't get by that stanky ass attitude. And because of the stanky ass attitude that the person actually portrayed, they're not getting a lot of things done for them. There's people that I work with, people that I went to school with, people that I've had many dealings with, people in my family. The attitude is so freaking bad. You can't even deal with them. That's how bad it is. You can't get by that attitude. And these people are maybe skillful in some areas of their life. These people definitely need things from you. So if you have love in your heart and you care about your fellow brothers and sisters, those who you can, I would say pull them aside and try and talk to them. So we got to try to reach everybody because it's a shame what's going on. The network of people making money in the U.S., especially in the Northern California Bay Area, is astronomical of what the Indians are doing, the Asians are doing, white folks are doing, the Africans are even doing. But the African Americans are not doing. Why? Because they can't get by that stanky ass attitude, man. And I'm going to tell you something. You know, just this subject right now, it really touches me. It hurts because I've tried to help so many people. But if you can't have a decent conversation with a person without them having some blow up or breakdown, what can you really do to help that person to the next level? Listen, if I've met some people who had no skills, but they're the kindest people you want to meet. I mean, people who are really simple-minded, but they're the kindest person you want to meet. I find myself spending more time with people who are nice, pleasant, who need assistance or resources or connections I find myself spending more time with them than very skilled people with a bad attitude. And that's sad because in this time and age for black folks, we got to have some skillful people, family. But if skillful people are not, they're not palatable they're not easy to work with, then I don't care what people tell you, it ain't going to happen. Okay? People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you walk around with a chip on your shoulder all day about nothing, all day about your personal problems, and you meet some people who can help you, but you're so angry, you're so upset in your own set in your own ways, you in your own way to get the next level, to get to the next level. I hate to say it, a lot of people in our family, of the black community, have a lot of mental problems because of white supremacy, because of being grew up in single parent homes, alcoholic abuse, drug abuse, sexual abuse. I get it. I do. Dr. Umar talked about that a lot. But even so, if you are really trying to take a step to the next level for you, yourself, and your family, don't come with a bad attitude, family. Because I'm going to tell you, when you turn somebody off, let me tell you something. I'm one of the people that when I get turned off emotionally from somebody, and I know the person has a bad attitude, let me just tell you the truth. Sometimes to avoid a fight, I won't even let them know. And I know somebody on this call right now. I'm looking at the people on the call. Keep it 100, family. There's folks on this call right now know what I'm talking about. When people have such a bad attitude, you can't have a decent conversation with them without them blowing up, without them trying to overtalk you, trying to argue you down, getting aggressive, almost like they want to fist fight with you. Brothers, I'm talking about the brothers right now. Sisters, getting on you in people's face and extra, raising your voice and all that. That ain't helping your situation. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm guilty of this. I'm going to just be real. I'm guilty of this. I've seen people literally fall on their face. Well, not, I'll say figuratively, fall on their face. And I watched it happen because this person had such a bad attitude. I couldn't help them because they wouldn't take my help. They have to fall on their face first. You see? Somebody fall on their face first, they're looking around at somebody to blame. I didn't make you fall on your damn face. You didn't see the roadblock, but I tried to advise you. But you couldn't get by in a decent conversation with me because you want to, take that stance because you got some other issues you ain't worked out. Like, for example, this sister came to one of our meetings. She want to blow all up talking about what she done. She want to blow all up, try to take over everything we had going. Didn't nobody want to work with her. And she might have been a smart sister. But her attitude was terrible. It's also like one of the reasons why I just said, you know what? I'm not doing town hall meetings no more. Because I don't want to deal with that attitude. People come with the attitude, but they come with attitude, but no work ethic. They want to be the boss, but don't have the skills to be the boss. They want to lead, but they're not respectable. It's amazing. The people in the most lack, the baddest attitude. Wouldn't you be humble if somebody can help you? Think about that. But if nobody can help you, and I got people that I could just think of, I could call out names, I ain't going to do it. But it's like they're drowning, and I'm watching them drown. Do you know how hard it is? Let me tell you something, family. I'm a visionary. And I have a unique skill set that is almost unreal to me sometimes. But because of coming in a home that I grew up in, the things I've studied, the things I've learned from just dealing with crazy family members and dysfunctional people as a whole, there's certain things I've learned. There's red flags that go up. And those red flags generally are mapped out to me like Hansel and Gretel. Remember the story of Hansel and Gretel where they put breadcrumbs down and find their way back home? These red flags go up to me like that. I see a pattern of red flags with people. And I see where it's leading. But at the same time, the person won't accept my advice to get them off that path. So I got to sit back and watch this person go off the cliff because I've been there before. I've dealt with people before like that. In my former dysfunctional life, growing up in a dysfunctional family, I dealt with that some of those issues. But as a reformed person of strength, mentally, emotionally, physically, I see the red flag, family, and I can tell, talking to people on a couple of occasions, what I'm going to have a problem with. And I try my best to be humble. I try my best to be nice, to keep my voice down, but it does not matter. It never fails. Some people in our family just will not get by that bad attitude. And they're drowning, family. They are literally drowning. And I throw them a life jacket, a life preserver, they'll throw it back because they're just that bitter or angry or dysfunctional. So I'm telling my people tonight, there's people every day you see, you talk to, you think they like you. You think you're friends with them. You think that you work with this person and that you're a great coworker. They got your back. You think these people actually respect you in the business world. And behind your back, they chopping you up. They chopping you up. They talking behind your back. They say he thinks he's this, all this. You think she all that. And never have you come across to them disrespectfully. But yet, if you are a fly on the wall and some of the talk that goes on about yourself to people you're trying to assist, you'd be amazed at things they say about you. You'd be amazed. So, living in lack with a bad attitude, let me just tell you, you're poor, you're heartbroken, you're emotionally broken, you're dysfunctional, whatever problems you may have, you still need to eat, still need to drink, still need a place to stay, still need ways to make money. You still have to have some kind of social life. All these things are considered resources. Some of them come in the form of people, some come in the form of things, situations, what have you. But I'm telling you right now, family, this is fact. You are being looked over because of your badass attitude. And I'm going to tell you something. I ain't no yes man. But one thing I am with people, I give everybody their respect. And it's a point that, you know what, I go overboard sometimes to gain people that I think is valuable people. They have good hearts. They're good, strong people. But it comes to a point in your life, family, that you got to shake the dust off your feet and keep it moving, because some people will destroy you. I'm a strong person mentally, okay? I've dealt with a lot. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why I brought this topic is because there's a lot of people in our group, in our family, they're living in lack and have a bad attitude. But sometimes that attitude is sometimes it comes because of the people they live with, sisters and brothers, husbands and wives, significant others, mothers and fathers. And the thing is, if you are not a strong person mentally, you cannot allow yourself to spend an excessive amount of time with people who are setting you off. Let me just say that for the record. I'm giving you permission. My cousin here from Brazil, he told me he's big into martial arts. He said sometimes you gotta give yourself permission. I'm giving you permission. Give yourself permission to walk away. Give yourself permission to remove yourself from that equation. Because if I know what I know now, when I was coming up with my parents, when I was coming up with my family, the dysfunctional ones, those are so dysfunctional you can't work with them. What I know now, if I'd known then, I would have walked away a long time ago. I got people I consider family right now. They're great people, biggest hearts, but they're surrounded by a lot of dysfunctional people. And dysfunctional people begets dysfunction. And mentally, they're not strong enough to deal with it. Well, how do you tell somebody? How do you show somebody they got to cut their mama off, their daddy off, sisters, brothers off, cousins, sisters, all of them off, aunties and uncles off? How do you tell somebody that they got to cut them off? That's something emotionally connected to them. That's something that's so deep and so cut in their very being that they would fight to keep that. That's dysfunction. See, dysfunction is only not just talking about living in a single-parent household. That's not dysfunction there necessarily. If you have a good role model, let's say you're a woman, you have no father in the household. They would consider you dysfunctional. Have you not proper respect for men? Yeah, you'd be dysfunctional because you've never seen a man and know what a man is, how you're supposed to treat a man. Let's say if you're a father, you're a boy. You grew up not having a father. You don't know how to be a man. You're being taught by your mama to be a man. That's dysfunction. Let's say you're a young boy, young man, growing up with a dad, not a mom. Yeah, you know how to be a man, so you think, but you never know how to treat a woman because you never had one in your family. That's dysfunction. You're a young girl. You grew up with your dad. You have a good relationship with men. You can talk to men all day, but you don't have the connections the feminine aspect of being a woman because you never had that in your life. That's dysfunction. I know many people that I work with, know for a long time, people that I've associated with in business and whatnot. They fall in these categories, and they still are so engulfed in dysfunction they can never repair themselves. And let me give you a fact because I lived it. I can say it. I know what its proof is. The fact is this, family. In the black community, there's a lot of dysfunction, and it was done by design because the white folks know who run the country. They understand if I keep good black people with bad black people, I keep impoverish the good black people, and they live with the bad black people. Eventually, they will blend because when the men go to prison, women stay home raising kids by themselves. These young boys and young girls grow up and learn in the street how to hustle, how to lie, how to cheat, how to connive, how to shoot, how to sell drugs, how to be a hoe, how to be a pimp. This stuff they learn from the streets because you come from a single-parent household. Get rid of all the men, leave nothing but the slim pickings left for the women to choose from. And guess what? Y'all all on the same side of the tracks because you're poor and impoverished by white supremacy that you end up mixing with some of the dysfunctional people in the community. And so now you get these people are grown now, 2 or 3 generations removed from the civil rights movement. These people are grown now, mixing and having relations with dysfunctional people, having kids with dysfunctional people. So now you got adults now, effeminized 2 generations ago, effeminized young men and masculine women with bad attitudes on both ends. And you're being passed over by someone would quote, air quotes, by the good white people who want to give black people a chance. But as soon as they meet you, first impression is lasting, family. What they get somebody who's poor, impoverished with a bad attitude. Now, I'm not saying go into white supremacist society and go in there and be yes man, yes woman to everybody you meet. I'm not saying it at all because I'm the farthest one from that. People might think I had a bad attitude because I'm direct or because I'm not going to take a whole lot of crap from people disrespecting me. But, it's fine. Because one thing about me, family, is this. When I decide to have an attitude, I already made a decision that you ain't worth my time. And if you ain't worth my time, I can have a bad attitude. I don't care. I'm not asking nothing from you. But with families, people out there right now want people to help them. But their attitude is so bad, they live in lack so long, they can't accept the help. So I'm opening the lines up, and you give me some stories about it. I'm sure people have stories. We're going to talk about it right now. So I'm going to go and open the lines up, and we can discuss that. Let's see who wants to talk. Press 1 if you want to talk in the queue. Just give me your experiences. Let's discuss that. Press 1 in the queue. I'll give you the floor. We got about 33 minutes left. Who wants to speak on that? Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Press 1. Sure you got some examples. I'm sure you got some examples. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see here. 5769.
Come on now.
5769. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. Give me some examples. Yeah.
What's up, man? Some more noise in the background.
Okay,
good, man. How are you?
Good. You got any examples of people living in lack with a bad attitude?
Oh, yeah. I sure do. I don't know how detailed I want to get with it, but this is probably something anybody can relate to. Let's just say baby mamas. And sometimes, yeah, I'll put it to you like this. There's several different types of situations that you can have. You can have a situation where you knew the person, were in a relationship with the person, been with the person, and ended up separating. And unfortunately, on some occasions, there's a case where, let's say perhaps you had a one-night stand or a one-week stand, whatever you want to call it. And let's be real, sometimes people produce kids from these situations. So, I mean, my situation is one of those situations, my first situation with my firstborn. And I found myself basically just really allowing this person to set schedules and set everything because, ball's in her court, she has a kid, and I'm the type of man I like to see what you got, how you deal with things. Not that you're going to just have 100% your way. But anyway, long story short, this person was just dominating my schedule, dominating it on one end to the other end. So once I saw that, I had to kind of, let her know, hey, I worked, So with that in mind, once the schedule was put in place, it got a little bit better for a moment. However, this person's attitude, mind you, all along the way, I'm hearing all types of stuff from them, little side notes, or like a friend of ours like to say, a lot of sidebar stuff. You catch that during the entire situation. So long story short, basically I had to back off of this, I guess you call it, first person I had a child with. I had to back off her because she got to the point where she was really getting dirty and trying to put me in a position of saying to authorities that I'm not taking care of my daughter and possibly abusing my oldest daughter. So I had to kind of back off in order not to find myself in a bad position. And I just watched her attitude get worse and worse and worse. And I'm the type of person where at this point in my life, I have to back off of stuff like that because it's not healthy. And as you know, we talked about this before. This is a situation where it was important to do that for my health. Because if not, what are you going to do? Just keep going toe to toe with somebody that was raised differently, perhaps did not have a father in their life or a proper family setting to where they know when to kind of back off. And everybody needs to have that boundary. Everybody needs to know when to back off, man and women. But if you got somebody that's ghetto, basically ghetto, let's just say it like it is, straight up ghetto, and got to have their way and ready to challenge you and go toe for toe with you, well, I'm the type of person not going to deal with it. So that's pretty much our situation, dealing with somebody that has that type of attitude. And, you reap what you sow. I get that. However, you have to make a certain decision because if you know your limitations, it's not good to go beyond that because perhaps you'll find yourself acting out of character along with that person. And that's pretty much my experience, I got many more. I got many more. I'm 40 years old. I got many more.
And for the record, I know you're a great father to your children, and I've watched you interact, and I've even advised you on some things, and then you've taken my advice, and you see the differences. You see the differences. It worked out a lot better for you.
Oh yeah.
Because like I say, I've been around the block a few times, and it worked out a whole lot better. But thanks for your information. Let me see, get somebody else here. Thanks for that. I'll put you back on mute here. Okay.
All right, cool.
Uh-huh. All right, that was just one scenario, and he's a great father. And like I said, I've been around the block a few times, and I was able to advise him in some areas he should maybe tighten up on here and there, and it worked out a whole lot better for him. And things are working out a lot better for him at this point. But everybody don't want to help, family. Everybody don't want to help. Let's just say what it is. Everybody does not want to help. They'll say all day, complain about what they have an issue with, but they don't want your help. Sometimes you need somebody on the outside looking in to give you a helping hand and advise you with love, of course. But it has to be somebody who knows you. But also you have to do your part too. If people are not being honest about issues they may have in their life, you got to realize, not on the business setting, because in the business world, white folks don't care what your problem is. They don't really give a damn. Be honest with you, they might talk that talk, but just meeting somebody, you can't lay all that on them. But as your friends and your family, if you be honest with your family and your friends say, "Listen, this is my issue. I'm dealing with this right now, and is having a hard time dealing with this. Can you just work with me on this? I'm working on this." That would be the humble thing to do. That would be the mature thing to do. But all you do is just lash out, and you just barely surviving, barely making it. You just lash out. People trying to help you. Eventually, that help's going to go away. When it is, what you going to do now? What you going to do now? One thing about me, I learned over the years, through hardship, you can drop me in Thailand, baby. You can drop me in China. I'm going to make something happen. Because I understand the social dynamics of people and how decisions are being made. Socially, I'm great. And I learned a lot from other people's experiences. So you shouldn't have to always touch the water to know it's hot. You shouldn't have to always do that. You should be able to learn from other people's experiences. So you ain't got to go through them. But some people, they're stubborn, and they choose to go things the hard way. I'm gonna learn on my own. I gotta learn by doing. Okay, but guess what, family? There's something you can do once and never recover for it. Like right now, in my heart, in my soul, there's people that I know right now. They will never ever be wealthy. Let me say that again. I'm not saying that I'm gonna be wealthy, like oh, have all this stuff, but my priorities are different, and it's gonna come. And if I keep living, it's gonna come. But the people in my life right now, people in my family, they will never be wealthy. They hit the lotto. I don't know when they're going to get it. They don't have a discipline. They will never have long-term great relationships because they don't know how to be that friend. They don't know how to be that business partner. That's a whole other discussion. We'll discuss that another time. But I'm listening to us talk for a minute. I'm open line for 8780. Last digits of your phone, 8780. You live with us. Welcome to the Barry Black Community Reloaded. 8780. How you doing? What's your name? Where you calling from? 8780. I hear you back to breaking something. What you doing? You live. We can't hear you. Doing a lot of paper crackling back there. 8780. Can you hear me? Okay, this person, let me come back to you. Okay. I got area code. Well, not an area code, but last four digits is 5484. 5484. I think I know who this is. 5484.
Yes,
welcome.
Of course you know who this is. Thank you
hey,
for
hey,
opening
hey.
me.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good, good, good. Give me some experience. What you got?
Oh, I've got some super deep experience, but it's too deep to really get super detailed, but I'll go over it kind of briefly. But
okay.
You know, and I'm really so past being afraid to talk about, you know, who and what. So I'm just going to keep it kind of uncut and real. So,
okay.
You know, me and my sister, we had never had a good relationship my whole life because she always had a lot of control over me. You know, of course, I was young, naive, didn't know no better, and just let it happen, you know. And very timid, not really tripping off of anything, but just letting it happen because of how our upbringing was. And, you know, I didn't have anybody to turn to. I didn't have a lot of stuff. So no support in any type of area of my life. But my sister, being as though she was my only sister, I always tried my best to look up to her, to you know, reach out as a sister and you know, just get that sisterly love and try to, you know, have any kind of, you know, feedback, reciprocation of, but I never received anything back, nothing. And so, so throughout the years, there was constant just evil things being done to me, treating me so evil for no reason. You know, of course, a lot of people say, oh, maybe she's jealous, this and that and the other. You know, none of that stuff I even cared about. I just, you know, wanted her love and respect, and for the longest time. And so after a while, you know, she lost all the control over me. That went really south. I mean, so south, you know, it was just bad. She'd try to keep my nephew from me. I mean, anything I could, she wanted me to do, and I just was like, nope. It just blew her mind. She just went crazy. And so, you know, she lost that control. And, you know, after a while, you know, I just started, you know, making my own life choices and decisions and doing everything for me and my family. And so, you know, even still then, over time, I would still try to give her the benefit of the doubt and try to think, you know, and pray that it'll work and this and that and the other. And, you know, she'll come around just years and years later, 30 years now, and I'm 30-some years old now. You know, we're still having these same issues because she just refused to treat me with respect like I'm her sister. And, you know, next thing you know, she started getting into the word and, you know, she started changing as a person and, you know, but she, of course, like usually, people still remain the same who they are, the nasty part of them inside. So you will always see it seeping out all the time. And then next thing you know, years have gone by, you know, things, attitudes have kind of, gotten a little better, and but still the ugliness was still there. And so, I just still kind of, tried to see if it'll work out and see if it'll work out. And then, next thing you know, she gets cancer. Now she's dying. Of course, she's closer to God than ever before. And, and everything inside, I guess the way she feels is maybe haunting, taunting, And for me, I don't have a hardened heart, but I've never received any love. So therefore that type of connection isn't there because I've never received any kind of connection, so and now that the situation is the way it is, it's like now you found God and you just want everything to be perfect. Well, it's too late for all that. And you can't even, and I think a lot of times what it is with people too, when they've done people so wrong for so long, they have this ego, this thing that's telling them that if I apologize or if I admit this or if I just come out, I'm going to look and feel bad. And they will take that to their grave. And the only thing is the only person that's hurting is themselves because I'm completely over it. But, some people live with those serious feelings that from always treating people so wrong their whole life, and then they don't want to, after so many years, they don't want to say anything about it because they've done so much wrong that if they do say something about it, they're going to feel like it's bad, like it's going to kill them. So, and still the attitude, if there's still an attitude, it's still an issue there. Like, just move on and just be a better person. If you're going to be a better person and you're godly and God's going to cure all these things for you and make every relationship in your life great, without you having done anything, then so be it. But a long time ago, I've decided to separate myself from these type of attitudes because it's not healthy for me or my family. And so a lot of times, like you were saying before, you have to separate yourself because when you don't, you just continue to keep these negative things in your life. And when they're just right there hovering over you and you're afraid to get away, then you're not going to be able to even grow as a person either. You're going to still right there be stagnated in that same negativity. You got to learn how to just move on.
Yeah, absolutely true.
And I've moved on. Even though I love my sister, and, she's going to die, we're all going to die, but at the end of the day, I don't have any love lost, but I don't also have any built up either. I was never able to have it. It wasn't, given to me. So it's like you can't be just praying to God now that, it's just going to be perfect. It's just not going to be that way.
Right.
It's really not.
It's funny you said that. It's funny you said I had an aunt that, I'm not going to say we hated her, but she was always mean to us. I mean, never forget things that she done to us when we were young. It's amazing how people can always whoop somebody else's kids, but not their own. This is amazing sometimes. When she finally passed away,
hate.
Yeah, when she finally passed away, I didn't feel nothing inside. I didn't cry, and it's my mother's sister, and I didn't cry. I didn't know how to feel. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. And it shouldn't have to be that way. You should want to feel You should want to feel like that about somebody. But if you never invest into the relationship, as I was saying earlier about telling people about living in lack with a bad attitude, people are not going to pour into you good things if you have the attitude bad. Resources are dire today for the black community, and a lot of people won't receive the things they need because of the attitude. Just won't. I can't go anywhere. It's like just sitting in the store, somebody just lash out of nowhere for the most minute of things, and people looking like, wow. And if you don't, what people don't understand is people will make you wait longer in lines. People will do things for other people around you because they don't like you. And
Yes,
people say,
and
I don't
that's
care what
right,
they
and
do.
that's how
I
it
like,
be.
yeah,
Somebody just won't like you as a person,
right.
just a hater, just a regular old hater, for no
Hmm.
reason.
Yep. And it's
And
like,
you know, more.
hmm? Go ahead.
I was going to say more recent stuff that in our situation was that, you know, there's some things, you know, because she always treated my kids funny, everything, but we still came around trying to, you know, receive love that was never really genuinely given, you know. So, and recently, I tried because a couple of people was like, maybe you should talk to her about it and tell her. Like, it's really nothing because I already knew that she's not the kind of person that want to, you know, talk about it because these are things she's done some really horrible things that she don't want to say out loud, you know. So, and I reached out to her, very, you know, brief words, nothing long, you know, and just as I suspected, she told me, just flipped it over and told me I have issues and that I, you know, and she don't want to talk to me about my issues and this and that and the other. I hadn't even mentioned anything about what I was going to talk to her about. And she sent me this long text message saying I've got issues and that she don't want to discuss my issues. I need to worry about my family and my baby on the way and just a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm like, where is all this going? But it's that hatred and that all that evil that you've done over the years with that you don't want to confront. And I don't even want her to confront it. I just wanted to try to see if we could, you know, still establish a better relationship. I wasn't even tripping off of that, you know. But unfortunately, she's so caught up into that still that she don't want to just accept what she did, and she don't even have to admit it. But the thing is, like, she don't want to say it out loud. She don't want to talk about it because it's destroying. It's like a destructive feeling because that's the way she did people. Now, and sadly, and it's not me the only person that she treated like that. What is so sad, you know, many people. So, but I just got the worst of it, you know, and for her not to want to just try to, you know, see if we could come together and have a better relationship. That right there just tells you that person does hold on to their issues. And I feel like I don't really have any issues in that area. I just really want to have a good relationship. But unfortunately, that person's still holding on to issues. And it's sad because if you can't move past that, there will never be a good relationship. There will never be growth. There will never be a true, genuine connection, especially, you know, people always hollering agape love, agape love. You know, you can't possibly have agape love when you can't even consider yourself to bring out anything that causes you harm inside. If you, any person in their right mind, want to get rid of, what do you call it, toxic
Strife.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Strife,
Strife,
anything that
enmity,
just been
anger,
holding you down.
animosity. Right. Absolutely
I
true.
don't get it. It's like it eats you up. You know, sometimes I feel like that, you know, and you will totally understand what I'm about to say now because we've sat through a lot of different type of meetings, you know, self-development meetings where people cause their own self to get sick in these ways. And I believe totally that a lot of times their sicknesses come from their sick selves inside.
That's true. It does. Stress is the number one killer. All right. Well, let me get to somebody else real quick. Thanks for your comments. It was
No
very
problem.
very deep. I appreciate it. So let me see. Go to last four digits is 2697. 2697. You're welcome. You're live on the air with Barry Black Community Reloaded. How you doing? 2697. I think that's CJ. CJ?
Yeah.
What's going on?
One more.
You got anything you want to add to living in life with a bad attitude? You know any experience you want to share?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I thought I had to push one to become live on there.
I can
I'm
help you with that because people forget. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was just sitting up, just thinking about my life, and you made me realize some things when you start talking about people without their father. Because I never knew my father, and I never really realized how much it's affected my life until you start talking about those things. Um,
Wow.
unfortunately, I'm still working, and I'm going to have a hard time trying to explain what I wanted to explain. But I am still listening, and I just really appreciate this show. I'm going
Thank you,
to
bud.
have to let you go to something else. I got.
Okay.
I'm still working. All right.
Okay. Okay.
All
I'll
right.
put you back on mute. All right. All right. Yes. I'm really passionate about this subject because this is one of my pet peeves, man. It's just that I see so much for some people. It's like I see people with so much potential in our group, in our community. They just don't see it. They can't get past the issues. They carry the anger and the strife, and I get it. If it's coming from home, I understand. But you got to always check yourself because living in the white supremacist system, nobody's going to care what your real issues are, and things you're going to need, people are going to pass you by. Like just talking to a few people tonight before we end this thing. I don't want to keep you guys too late, but you got to think about your life. You got to go back into your life past and see if you have issues with being angry all the time, if you have issues with uh, always wanting to lash out, think about where that comes from. Sit down with yourself for a cool half hour and just meditate. Maybe get your glass of wine, not a bottle of wine. Get your bottle of wine, get whatever your favorite vintage is, and just kind of like get some quiet time and think about that. Like, why do I have this issue? Because I can be me personally. I'm gonna tell you, personal experience. Before I went back down to the South where I'm from for my 20-year class reunion, I talked to my father, and I never had a discussion like this before in my life with him because we was always afraid of him because we grew up with a lot of domestic abuse and whatnot, alcoholism and whatnot. But as a grown ass man, went back down there and I talked to him about everything I felt about he did. I said I gotta have this discussion with him before he dies. Something happens to him, whatever. And let me tell you something. I talked with him for about 2 hours, telling him all I thought about him, why he did things he did with us. I told him to his face. I had plans to kill him. I was going to kill him. I was going to poison him. Told him how. All kinds of stuff. We had a serious, serious talk. But you know what? A weight lifted off my person. And I'm going to tell your family, when I came back to California, I was a new person. It's a calm over me now. Some people know me as kind of wild, whatever, crazy, but it, I was more aggressive. I was angry beyond even understanding. I was angry, and I knew where it came from. I never dealt with my issues, so I went to talk to my dad. The main culprit behind this issue that I was having was with him, and I had this long, deep talk with him. And after I got talking to him, I forgave him for some things he did. Some things I was irritated about it, but I got it off my chest, so I could quit carrying that load, that weight on me. Many of my friends tried to talk to me about that, and I just finally, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. So I had that talk with him. So, family, let me just tell you about who's been reformed. If you got anybody in your circle, if you got anybody you care about in your life, anybody in your business world that you want to be business partners with, somebody has something that you want, you have to have a good attitude to receive it. Because there's only two people in this world, maybe even one, that's going to ever deal with you unconditionally for the most part. I can't say for everybody, but say 95% of the time, okay? Because there's a 5%, and I'm in that 5%, unfortunately. But 95% of the time, there's always two people you can count on that accept you with your bad attitude because you probably got it from them. Your issues probably got it from them. That's your mother and your father. And if that's not the case for you, family, I'm gonna just tell you, like myself, I don't have that kind of relationship with my parents like that. So I'm gonna tell you, I had to repair myself through other means. And it took about literally 15, 20 years of seeking the right resources for myself. But I did it with a good attitude toward people that were trying to help me, never with a bad attitude. And I'm going to just tell you, it's a weight lifted off me. So I do this show to help my brothers and sisters from all walks of life in this world. You could be from, I don't know, from 15 to 85, 90, whatever. I'm hoping I can say something on here that'll help you in your life because I've learned so much in such a short period of time, and it's all like capsuled. So I'm trying to unpack some things for you guys to understand through experience. Deal with that stuff. If you have parents that are alive and you have issues with them, talk to them about it. It may not work, but one thing you can say, they pass away, you did your part. You discussed it, and nothing happened behind it. Hey, kick the dust off your feet and do it moving. So I think that'd be the ending for the show tonight. Like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like us, subscribe to us, the Bay Area Black Community. Subscribe to us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, the Bay Area Black Community. If you're in the Bay Area and you're actually black, you're not a spy or work for the governments or whatever, subscribe and try to submit a request to join our private group, the Bay Area Black Community, and I'll look it over. If you're a real person, I'll let you in. So this ends broadcast for tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm gonna let you guys a little early today because people have to go to work and get ready for the next day. And I would remind people tomorrow is election day. Make sure you go and vote. Make sure you go and vote because who becomes the nominee could very well become your president. Good night, family. Love you guys. Until next time.